Welcome to the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Today is Thursday, the 28th of April, and it's the year 2022. I'd like to say hello to everyone joining us on YouTube tonight. So far, we have Mad Mom. Nice to see you, Mad Mom. Of course, we have Gary Ride, our good friend Gary, who went to Jefferson City with us this past Tuesday, 2 days ago, and Robin Downing and Warrior Class 3. So, hey, and sorry about that, actually. My dogs are still outside, so I'll check on them in a little bit later. I was trying to find them. With us in the Discord stream is Ganai, also known as Scott, Liberty Revolutionary, also known as Caleb, Missouri Liberty Report, also known as John, Robert E. Smith, known as Robert E. Smith, and Warrior Class 3. Yeah, you're with us on both sides, buddy. Way to show us how to do it there. That's awesome, Doug. And the holdup is over. I'm going to start out by talking just a little bit about what we did on Tuesday, and then we'll go into a broader discussion. So some of you were with us. Casey Rich is not here right now. Casey Rich was up there. We had Ganai, and he brought his wife with us, or with him to join us on our adventures, stomping the halls up at Jefferson City. We had Goatfoot Grant with us. We had Missouri Liberty Report came with us. Let's see, Casey Pemberton was there for a bit. And let's see, Gary Ride was there with us. He brought a friend of his with as well. And let's see, who am I missing at this point? Gosh darn it. I know I'm missing some folks. Forgive me. But we were up in Jeff City, and we were talking about HJR 79. And actually, I think we did some good up there, some real good up there. Of course, time will tell on that. But I think basically we had an impact. So those of you who were able to join us, that was awesome, and thank you very much. We're going to continue talking about HJR 79 tonight and what we can do to stop it and even replace it with something better. Because we're not just about complaining about problems. We have solutions. We have solutions in spades. So I'd like to open up to a broader conversation at this point. John, the Missouri Liberty Report, and Ganai, out of our guys right now in Discord, we're up there in Jefferson City. And hello to Dan on YouTube, by the way. So what are your thoughts, guys, for going up there?
It was a cool experience for me, never doing it before. So I learned a lot by watching you and KC and Ganai all interacting with the senators and their LAs. I really had a great time. It sounds weird to say, like, you went to the state capitol and had a great time, but I get to hang out with you all you guys, and I got to learn a lot. And when I learn things that are constructive and informative, then I generally enjoy that type of thing. So it was cool to see, because I think if you never go to if you never go to the state capitol or any government building like that, you would think that they're all just locked away in their offices and nobody's coming in here and talking to me. But they were generally open. Like, a lot of them had signs that said "Open, come on in."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Open the door slowly, be polite, ask if you can speak to Senator such and such, and it was really cool. I really had a good time.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Scott was up there too, and he brought his wife along. Oh, Rebel Cry was up there, and his wife was up there. That was unexpected. That was really cool. So we had other people up there too. It was a pretty good showing. But what was really neat about that experience for me is we were able to actually not only did we go up there and complain about HJR 79, which is a horrible bill, and we're going to talk about the constitutionality of it in a second here, but we were able to propose a solution because Bill Hicks has HJR 132, which is an actual much better solution to the perceived problems. And by the way, I shouldn't say perceived problems anymore. There are problems that we're dealing with the ease of which the Constitution in Missouri can be changed, and the easy accessibility to the ballot, by Bloomberg's and Soros's and everything. But accessibility to the ballot is one of the beautiful things about the state of Missouri. Okay, says OBS reconnection.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Can you guys hear me on Discord?
Yep.
Okay,
5 by
gotcha.
5,
Right.
bro.
All right, gang.
He was attacked by Big Brother.
Well, I don't know exactly. I haven't had time to run forensics on it, but it does say that there was a DNS probe problem. So I don't know exactly what that means. But at any rate, it looks like for whatever reason, rebooting all the equipment. Actually, the Sonic Wall didn't do it. It was the T-Mobile router that seemed to correct it. Okay, well, we probably lost a lot of our YouTube audience. If you guys want to,
No, Liberty Revolutionary kept him up to date, so I think a lot of them stayed in.
okay, gotcha, wonderful. I'll tell you what, Liberty, can you keep it going real quick? I'm getting a call from my brother, and I do need to take it. And I'm sorry about that, gang. Family emergency going on. My mom's in the hospital.
Okay.
No, sorry to hear that.
Okay, thank you.
I just realized I'm muted.
I thought you were on the phone talking still.
No,
Because I can see your mouth moving.
I muted myself. No, I had my headset over here and I was talking through this, but then because I could still, it was simultaneous. I could hear coming from Discord and I could hear this at the same time. So it was like, oh, okay, I'm connected. No, I'm not.
No, you ain't,
Oh
bro.
God, bruh,
Bruh.
it's just so cringy. Ah,
I should tell my
Dang.
joke that I told you before the.
no.
I won't. I won't. That'd be bad.
That's
That's
awful.
that's for the after the YouTube live stream.
Dear God.
Oh goodness sakes!
So when Patrick crashed, did the YouTube live stream keep going?
Yeah, it kept going for some reason. I don't know.
Huh.
Usually it cuts off
was-
and then stops and then comes back, but
Yeah, the chat was going, but the stream just like the video part was froze, but people were still talking. I'm like, oh,
maybe it's because
right.
it was still feeding it from the OBS server.
It might have been.
That makes you wonder where they run that through, though, huh?
Yeah.
Well, at least we were able to keep YouTube entertained for a second.
Yeah. Robin Downing says, "Were any of you in Jeff City on Tuesday?" I did not end up making it. I had a friend in town that was from Maryland, so I was like, "Yeah, wasn't gonna be able to make that one."
Yeah, it was
I'm kind of
Patrick,
kicking myself though.
Ganai and his wife, Gary Ride, and his friend, KC. And he said Warrior Class 3 and his wife were there. Casey Pemberton joined us for a little bit. Now I got the Patrick feeling. I'm leaving someone out. Oh, Grant was also there for a bit
Yeah.
till he had to go back to work. So we had a nice crowd.
That's good.
It was pretty awesome. We didn't even get called insurrectionists. It was kind of disappointing.
Wow. Didn't get called. Wow, that's just that means you're not doing something right, though. You
Yeah,
know?
we should have picked up a podium and started taking off running.
Well, I
That
tell
would've-
you what, because of what all you did happen to enter a capital as conservatives, even though you were let in. You're probably listed as domestic terrorists at this point.
I'm sure I am.
Yeah, if you're not on the list, you're not doing something right. Even Bolden says it. Mike Bolden even says that.
Yep.
Right.
You know, I should have waited a few more days before I started posting on Twitter. I got myself a 7-day ban like 2 days ago, and it was before the deal was finalized. So yeah, I should have waited.
I literally could not wait anymore. I posted on Twitter. I found that Google Images of Preparation H, the box of Preparation H, and put for all the butthurt.
That's mildly offensive to some
Right.
people. It's like very, very mild. My style is just flat out saying that Bill Gates needs some lead. So that's my style. So, yeah, I got yeeted for a few days. Should have waited.
Can't even see. Did they take that off of there? I hope they didn't.
Oh, my phone's up here, isn't it? Yep.
Don't tell me they took that off there, because that was a classic.
They may shadow banned it, and sometimes when they shadow ban stuff, you can't even see it.
Oh, that is disappointing. Let me see.
Yeah,
Maybe it's still on there.
I know when you posted it, I was still posting that same day, so I already know that.
Oh, no, there it is. For all those butthurt people when they found out Musk owns Twitter, and then I put this here. Oh, the camera's not even going to show it, but I put a picture of. It's even multi-use or multi-symptom relief preparation aids. So they're feeling it in their heart or in their brain or in their butthole. They're going to get some relief. So I could not pass that up at all.
God.
Couldn't pass it up. It's the first thing that sprang to mind. I was like, my wife's like, why are you looking at pictures of preparation H? I'm like, there's a good reason. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment.
And what was her response after she saw it?
I just got the general eye roll. Like, you childish man. I'm like, you married me. We've been together for, oh man, 28 years. You should know that I'm almost 50 years old and I still have the brain of an adolescent child, teenager time. So you can't be shocked by things that I say and do.
Yeah, but see, it's not necessarily about the things. It's not to entertain yourself. It's to entertain other people, which in turn entertains you. So
That's true. That's
it's
true.
always bring that point up.
Yeah, I
She's
mean,
not watching right now, is she?
no. I sometimes say things and she just kind of looks at me like, and I'm like, you've been with me for 28 years. You can't now roll your eyes and act like this is some weird stuff that you're seeing. Because you should be used to this by now. She's just desensitized. I still get an eye roll, but she's desensitized to most of it. Unless I say something really awful about someone. Like, I told her that I wanted to do a podcast, but I would literally just record myself as I was driving to and from work about the awful things that I say about other people in their cars. And she's like, yeah, don't. She's like, that would be really bad. I said, there are going to be people in agreement with me who are going to be entertained by the things that I say about other people as we're going down the road. So
Yes, but it's not ideal for a
it's probably not.
pod. Yeah. Everything all right, man?
Yeah, everything's it's looking better. It's looking better.
Yeah, good.
So, yep, I'm sorry about the interruptions, gang, and gosh darn it, I can't believe my internet went down during the live stream like that. So that's the second time that's actually happened, in the last 2 months. But okay, so once again, I'm sorry I wasn't part of the conversation you guys just had. Is there anything I should know before we start talking about HCR 79?
Probably not.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably not.
When the cat's away, the mice play. Is that what happened here?
Pretty much.
Yeah, we were talking about distilleries and explosives.
No.
no.
We didn't go that far.
Okay.
We didn't go that far.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well.
You really think we're like that?
Oh no, you guys are as squeaky clean as they come. I love you guys.
I'm insulted. I feel like I should contact Biden's Ministry of Truth and have you turned in.
This is where when you come back into the group like this and you said, "You really think we're like that?" What you're supposed to say is, just give us a dirty look and say yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, you guys are like that apparently. So I love you guys the same though. And once again, we'll get to your comments here in just a second. I want to talk about HCR 79, and like the title of the video said, we have a threat with HCR 79, and it's not just to us having access to the ballot initiative. Let's see. Everyone's quiet. Ken Wood says. All right, gotcha. Let me take
turn server volume up.
Okay, I'm working on it.
How about everybody else? Can everybody else hear us?
Yeah, is everyone else hearing us okay? If you guys could chime in on that 5x5, let us know if you're hearing us okay. And that's from Ken Wood. Thank you for chiming in on that.
Yeah, I gotta figure out.
Tribulation Prepper says turning 50 is like making a wet fart in your pantyhose.
I just said something about I'm going to be 50, and now I'm getting shots fired.
Eh,
So I don't. I feel
Fire,
attacked.
man.
I feel attacked.
the most disturbing thing here, Tribulation Prepper, is the pantyhose thing. I meant, shoot, man. I meant most guys don't wear pantyhose even when they're 50. So yeah, that's the weird part.
Okay, so we're getting 5x5s in.
Yep.
It's
Okay,
it's,
5x5.
yeah,
Robin, here's
sounds
us
like
fine.
it's on your end, Ken.
Okay, Ken. Yep. So I don't know what I could do on my end. Actually, I looked at OBS and it looks like the audio is good on the OBS side. So, okay, well, continue on, Ken. Hopefully you can still hear us, or maybe turn your volume up just a little bit. And
Yeah.
so, okay, here's what we're going to talk about is a very, very interesting thing with House Joint Resolution 79, which we have not fully examined or discussed on the show before. And that's its ability to actually create a constitutional Congress within the state of Missouri. And most people would say, hey, that's great. So the problem here is the procedure for actually getting that done. And the procedure is as follows, and it's been written about. It's the delegates to the Constitutional Congress are selected by the Republicans and Democrats in the General Assembly, I believe. If that's the case, go ahead.
I haven't had the chance to look into that. You and I were on the phone for.
Okay. So
I would have to double check into that.
Theoretically, a year from now, if this goes through the Senate, theoretically, we could have literally this time next year, we could be literally replacing the Missouri Constitution with a brand new one with people that we don't know and possibly can't trust to handle that kind of work, that kind of job, that kind of task. So there's even worse things with 79 than what we've been talking about openly in our group. So that's something to consider. This needs to be killed, but there is a replacement for it, and that's HJR 132. Now, Dean Blocker, the blocker, has left that in the House of Representatives on the informal calendar. He has not let it come out to the floor. So many people don't know there's a better alternative. Better alternative is there. And so I just want to say there's other people working this. We have, basically Show Me Integrity. They have been working on this. Ron Calzone has been working on this. And it just so happens we have been working on this. 3 independent organizations have been working on this, basically to try and get this stopped, or at least, amended, replaced, stopped. Basically looks like it may be our only option. So we went to the Senate, and I'm saying there was a large contingent from our group that went to the Senate on Tuesday to go and talk to these senators. Now, here's my sit rep. I was actually kind of shocked. And I was shocked because the senators didn't know that there was a better alternative. They honestly to God didn't know. I'd like to say, go ahead.
By the way, looks like it's Ken Wood is Mad Mama Non using husband's phone.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hey there, Mad Mom. Okay.
Another thing I'm gonna add into that too with the, to put in perspective, if that is the case, it's my mic. I'm plenty loud, aren't I?
Actually, you are.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I could bring you up just a little bit. Hang on a second.
Yeah, bring me up a little bit.
Okay, I did, because you're about a foot away from your microphone. Here, I'm about 3 inches away from mine.
How about now?
You're good.
So you're good. Go ahead and continue, Liberty.
All right. I was going to say that, to put in perspective, if that's the case, that this gets through, and what they do is that constitutional convention surrounding where it only takes only these politicians, the ones that pick the delegates for their districts. To put in perspective how bad that would be. You know how if anybody's ever said to you, well, if government disappeared tomorrow, then people would automatically vote in the largest government possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take that, miniaturize it to about however many people are actually in the Missouri General Assembly, and then add a bunch of millionaire donors, and then add in all of those people have been in public indoctrination centers. And then picture that.
Yep.
How much power would they give themselves?
Well, how much power, more specifically, are they interested in drawing away from the people? Basically, especially if there's a corporate influence, fascism.
Not even just that, but add in how much power are they going to give themselves because they think that the government has a role in it, a legitimate role in it,
Mm-hmm.
because of their indoctrination.
I've interviewed a gentleman.
That's a sociological fact that
Yeah.
after being in an indoctrination center for 13 years of your life and then carrying that with you, yeah.
So I've interviewed a gentleman 2 different times by the name of Robert Brown. And he goes around and he follows that Convention of States outfit all across the country. And I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, but he'll get up and he'll tell these states why they need to pick delegates and we need to do this Convention of States. Then Robert goes up there and totally, completely, and utterly destroys his argument. And he brings up the points that you all are making. So if anybody, I think he's got some videos on YouTube. So if you want more information, look up Robert Brown on YouTube. I know he has a series called "The Constitution is the Solution," and he thought that some of the other stuff that he saw out there wasn't comprehensive enough. So he really goes through the Constitution and breaks it down. But he has a $10,000 challenge out there right now. He's asking people to debate him, to tell him where they can find where this Convention of States thing is so awesome and how, they did a mock one and it turned out horrifically. And it was just a mock, like, oh, let's just do a Convention of States. And it was like 95% Republicans and 5% Democrats. And it was horrendous. And I don't even remember what they brought up to vote on, but they literally brought up something that it was basically they were debating that even though, we complain all the time about these alphabet agencies in government, that sure, the president could write his own laws and that other agencies could write their own laws. And I'm like, this is the absolute worst thing you could do. And this is what you're debating. Even though it was a mock one, that's what they literally tried to pass in this mock Convention of States. So he's much more eloquent at stating his point about a convention of state and just exactly, or a constitutional convention, how horrific those things can turn out.
It's because nobody, or at least very few people can actually read the Constitution anymore because the language has changed so damn much.
Yeah.
Courts have claimed arbitrarily, under no constitutional grounds, that things are constitutional, which in no way, shape, or form are. I just dropped a screenshot I took in my from a document that I put together. I don't know, when was it? A few months ago. Patrick, if you could pull that up, it would be great.
What is it you're looking for?
I just dropped an image in the chat.
In the chat?
The general chat there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go. The federal government isn't authorized by the Constitution to define or prosecute any crime other than the following within the states. Number 1, treason. Number 2, piracy and felonies committed on the high seas. 3, counterfeiting. 4, offenses against laws and nations, aka war crimes. Ironically, not only does the entire federal bureaucratic government wipe their butts with that concept, but they also commit all 4 of the listed crimes. So, yeah, I understand. Yep.
It's a fact.
Yep.
Because none of them actually understand the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Regulate does not control or restrict. It means make efficient.
Yep.
The Commerce Clause was not meant to make things where everything is restricted or controlled by the federal government. They had to amend the Constitution to get the 18th Amendment to ban liquor.
Yep.
Do they really think? And then today they completely ignore that and then go, oh, hey, let's just ban this and ban that, do this and do that. It's all arbitrary, stare decisis. And and people today, because of 100 years of that bull, now they think that, oh, well, it's all constitutional. It's well within the power. No, it's not. If you don't understand the source document or the core document itself, how do you expect someone to write a new constitution?
But not only that though, but it's funny because when they come out and say it's this court's opinion, it's just opinion. There's probably no fact or truth to what they're telling you that they're for or against.
There is no fact or truth to it. It's stare decisis, which is it's ruling based on precedent. So previous precedents, they build on it. It literally goes back to what John Dickinson said in 1764. All art for rulers who strive to extend their power beyond its just limits endeavor to give their acts as much semblance of legality as possible. Those who succeed him venture to go a little further, for each new act is strengthened by a former. That which growing old becomes an example itself, thus supporting fresh acts of usurpation. That is stare decisis.
Yep. So
ruling
it's
a
yeah, it's a snake eating its own tail. You know, the more tyrannical the government gets, the more pushback there is generally from the people, and that's exactly what the founding fathers intended. You know, that's
here's a question for everybody: how much land is the federal government actually entitled to?
0.
The answer is 10 square
10
miles.
square miles.
Oh yeah,
DC.
DC. Yep.
10 square miles making up DC. Nothing else.
Well, it does include like forts and munitions, and I believe there is docks on there for
Yes, but
our
those were
ports.
supposed to be in the territories or at consent of the states.
Yes, exactly. Not like that's their jurisdiction. So all their alphabet agencies, all their federal officers really have no jurisdiction outside of those federal territories.
They don't.
And so that's
like
just the way
Patrick,
it is.
Patrick, you and I earlier were talking about imminent domain and what they
We
did
were.
regarding that.
Yep.
That's stare decisis.
Yes, it is.
That is a direct violation of Amendment 10. And the funny thing is they look at guns. It's like we can do that. Commerce Clause. No, you're not allowed to restrict anything between the states. You're supposed to make some roads to make it efficient for the transit and the currency to make it efficient for trade amongst the states. That's it. Nothing else.
Yep. No, I agree. If you don't mind, though, let me steer the conversation back to HJR 79 because we do have a call to action on this. Despite the fact that we went to Jeff City and, we actually made some people aware, even senators that did not know about a better solution. Now, that's the important thing, guys. If you go up to Jeff City and you want to stomp around the halls, and I say it's stomp around the halls, that's not the best way of putting it. But let's say traverse, and some people may say frolic down the halls of Jefferson City. I consider us stomping because we're there on a mission. We didn't go there just for, and there's a gun rally that happens, and we were there, and it was fun. We got to meet a lot of people, Mark, what's his last name again, from St. Louis? McCloskey was there. So I had a chance to talk to Mark for, 10, 15 minutes. And honest to God, though, when I started talking about investigating, campaign donations, he got kind of quiet. I'm not going to say anything more about that right now, but so he was a chatterbox until then. Nice enough guy to sit down and talk to, by the way. But we went there and we stomped the halls. We had a mission, and that was literally to talk to the Senate about, number one, shutting down HJR 79 and or replacing it with something Blocker the blocker is stopping, which is HJR 132, which is a better solution to the problem. Here's the problem. It's too easy to change the Missouri Constitution. I mean, everyone can admit that. But literally limiting the access to the ballot petition process is not the solution. That just takes away power from you and me. It absorbs that power into Jefferson City to the General Assembly. This is the exact opposite of what we should be doing in our state. We are not competing with less free states. That's not the purpose of what we're doing. We're trying to compete with the freest state, and then by definition become the freest state, become the example to all other states, to be the shining beacon on the hill for all other states. Do what Missouri's doing, just like SEPA. So we actually, introduced this bill that is not going to get anywhere because of the blocker. So at least they could see an example of a better bill, a better way of handling it. And so we did that. But our work is not done. There's an actual blitz happening this weekend, phone calls, emails to senators. And you'll find below in the description section information about House Joint Resolution 79. What I failed to put in there is the roster for senators. Please call and email your senator this weekend. Basically, call and email. I'm asking for both, please, to ideally to replace 79 with language from 132. And I can actually put that in the description section as well. But the roster's right here, gang. I'll put it in the YouTube chat. There it is. So if you wouldn't mind to call your senators and let them know House Joint Resolution 79 is not what we want as Missourians. What we want is something that jives with our Constitution a whole lot better, keeping the ballot process available to the average Joe in the state of Missouri, not raising the bar so high that it's impossible for a citizen to actually address the people of Missouri rather than going through the General Assembly. Remember now, we're talking about the ballot initiative process. This is something that we have in the state of Missouri that allows us to get around the General Assembly when we need to. If we need to go direct to the people on an issue and can't get it done through the General Assembly, we need that option. What House Joint Resolution 79 does is essentially shut that down. Now, if we were talking to a politician, they'd say, no, that's not right. It doesn't shut it down. Well, what it does is it makes it so darn difficult. It raises the bar so high for getting signatures and for the amount of districts you have to get signatures in and the percentage of voters in those districts that you have to get signatures from. It might as well be impossible. So at any rate, that has to stop. 132 solves the problem by handling it on the other side. It's, basically how many people need to vote on an issue per district. So on the voting side, that's fine. That's fairer, and we still have access to the ballot petition. So if we have a better idea than the legislators do in Jefferson City, we can still go around them. That is the point. So I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is another prime example of what government does. We have, again, like Patrick stated, there is an issue here. But the politicians up there, some of these senators and these reps, they're not looking at the outcome of the bill. They're looking at the intent. And you never judge a law by its intent. You always judge it by its outcome. They're not looking at some of them are not looking at the outcome. Some of them are scared. And so they're looking at the intent. But this, again, we have to judge laws and regulations by outcomes and not by intent. You can't let these things get you emotionally attached and then hope that we got to do something right now. This is government going 150%. And what they do is they're painting with a broad brush. And instead of punishing the few, they're punishing the many. And the rich people, like Patrick and Casey told them, the rich folks can go around, the Soroses and the Bloombergs that they're so scared of can pay people to go to each district to get signatures. And like Patrick and them stated, we do this for free. We're not making any money. So the rich boys who get in and meddle in all the politics, they're going to be fine. We're going to get screwed over.
Yeah, well said. I appreciate that. And yes, that's exactly what we were saying when we were going around in Jefferson City talking to senators and LAs.
Hey, Patrick,
yes.
could you explain the HJR 132 a little bit more, how you said it attacks the other side?
Yes. 1 second. Let me bring it up on, pardon me. Bring it up on screen. House Joint Resolution
I have a
132.
paper copy with me, do I?
Okay. Let's see. Upon voter approval, this proposed constitutional amendment requires that any constitutional amendment must receive both a majority of statewide votes and a majority of votes in more than 1/2 of the state House representative districts in order to become effective. These requirements would also apply to the constitutional changes or amendments proposed during a constitutional convention held under Article 7, Section 3C of the Constitution of Missouri. The resolution contains ballot language submitted by the General Assembly under Chapter 116 of the revised Missouri statutes. So that's actually hang on 1 second. That is an executive summary. Let me get to you the introduced bill. And that's not it either. There we go. Okay, I will put this bill actually real quick in the description section of the video, and then I'll put it in the live chat. And then we can go through it together. Now, this is Representative Kidd who submitted this. And it says, basically, do you want to go through it or do you want specifics of it? It's only about a page and a half, almost 2 pages long. Robert?
Sorry, I thought maybe you're asking your crowd. Yeah, we could, go through the basics, and that way we could describe, and I get a better feel also of, how does it equal out and work? Because you said amongst the districts, the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to hear how that goes.
Gotcha. Okay. Once again, this has to do with the voting side of a ballot initiative, not the petition side. That's what's being denied to us in House Joint Resolution 79. This is on the other side, on the voting side. So I'm going to read to you basically what House Joint Resolution 132 is. And by the way, gang, this may seem innocuous, boring, somewhat stupid, but actually this is critically important, because if we did not know about this bill going into Tuesday, we wouldn't have been able to provide a possible solution to what the General Assembly sees as an absolute horrible problem that must be solved as soon as possible. And that's because of things they will cite over and over again, which is the Medicaid expansion that happened in the state of Missouri, bingo rules for the the Veterans Association. I'm not kidding you. Those ended up in our Constitution because of this, this ease of the ballot access. So we do have a problem. But the fact of the matter is, we can still get good ideas out if we still have access to the ballot initiative. So I'm going to read it, and this is what this one solves. We still have access. It raises the bar on basically the amount of votes needed to pass a ballot initiative into the Constitution of Missouri, bypassing the General Assembly. Okay. See that at the next election to be held in the state of Missouri. Let me enlarge it a little bit so I can see it better. On Tuesday, next following this Monday, November 2022, at the special election, will be called by the governor for that purpose, and is hereby submitted as qualified voters of the state for the adoption, rejection, the following amendment. And by the way, this is the language that would go on the ballot. Article 7, Constitution of the state of Missouri. Sections A, Sections 2B, and 3C, Article 7, Constitution of Missouri, are repealed, and the 2 new sections adopted in lieu thereof, to be known as Sections 2B, 3C, to be read as follows. Okay, now we're getting into the meat. All amendments proposed by the General Assembly or by the initiative shall be submitted to the electors for their approval or rejection by official ballot title, as may be provided by law, on a separate ballot without party designation at the next general election or at special election called by the governor prior thereto, at which he may submit any of the amendments. No such proposed amendment shall contain more than one amended or revised article of this Constitution, or one new article which shall not contain more than one subject and matters properly connected therewith. I love that legal language. It's like reading, the King James, 1611. If possible, each proposed amendment shall be published once per week for 2 consecutive weeks in 2 newspapers of different political faith in each county. The last publication to be not more than 30 nor less than 15 days preceding the election. So we're talking about a ballot initiative. They will announce the ballot initiative in the newspapers literally 30 days before the general election and explain what the ballot initiative does. Now, the reason why this is in here, it's not going to explain why, but the reason is because when we do a vote here in Missouri on a ballot initiative, the language on the ballot is often extremely ambiguous. A lot of people don't even know what they're voting for. So that's why that's in there. So so you guys understand that. Notwithstanding the provisions of Article 3, Section 51 of this Constitution, if a majority of the votes cast thereon statewide, also a majority of votes cast therein in each of more than half of the State House of Representative districts is in favor of any amendment, the same shall take effect at the end of 30 days after the election. More than one amendment at the same election shall have been submitted as to enable the electors to each vote on each amendment separately. Okay, so they can't put a bunch of things together into one, ballot initiative. They have to be separate issues on the ballot, is basically what that says. Okay, Section 3, and we're getting close to being done here. Any proposed constitution or constitutional amendment adopted by the convention shall be submitted to a vote of the electors of the state at such time, in such manner, and containing such separate and alternative propositions, and on such official ballot as may be provided by the convention. We're talking about the convention now. At a special election, not less than 60 days, not more than 6 months after the adjournment of the convention. So we're talking about a constitutional convention within the state now. Notwithstanding Article 3, Section 51 of this Constitution, upon approval, the Constitution and constitutional amendments by a majority of all votes cast therein statewide, and also a majority of votes cast therein, each more than half of the states of representatives districts. The same shall take effect at the end of 30 days after the election. The result of the election shall be proclaimed by the governor. So we're talking about a constitutional convention now, and they're raising the bar for a constitutional convention. That's what that does right there. Now, the last 2 paragraphs. Section B, pursuant to Chapter 116 and other applicable constitutional provisions and laws of the state, allowing the General Assembly to adopt ballot language for the submission of this joint resolution to the voters of the state, the official summary statement of this resolution shall be as follows. Shall the Missouri Constitution be amended to require amendments to the Constitution or the adoption of a new Constitution, whether proposed by the General Assembly, Constitutional Convention, or initiative, be approved by both a majority of voters statewide and also a majority of voters in more than half of the state's House districts. So that language is very specific. So it raises the bar for a constitutional convention. It raises the bar for the amount of votes needed, basically for a ballot initiative. But we still have access to the ballot initiative, relatively easy access. In fact, it can be argued the easiest access to a ballot initiative in the 21 states that actually do have ballot initiative access in the states. So what do you think about that, Robert?
I could make a point on that. So basically what this winds up doing, if I were to put it in layman's terms, it shifts to where it doesn't take a simple majority. It takes a simple majority in at least 1/2 of the districts, which means that it couldn't be strictly Kansas City and St. Louis that makes up that majority.
Okay. Well,
That's what I got from it.
so, but it's a better bill. It actually solves the problem that they're trying to solve up in Jefferson City without taking away the ballot initiative, basically from the people, from the residents of Missouri, by making basically raising the bar, raising the requirements to such a level that it's virtually impossible to get done. Requiring so many signatures in so many districts. So that's.
Thanks for going through that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, thanks for going through that.
Oh, no problem. No problem. And I have a hard time reading stuff like this because of the with all the strange words they have in there, the legalese. So I joked about it being like the King James 1611, which I do love reading, by the way, even though it has strange language.
Yeah, I probably could have read that. Wait.
Yep.
Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm trying to get this thing to come up.
Yep. So
yeah, if you pay attention out there, you're gonna lately the last, I would say, 2 weeks, I've seen a few state senators say, "I've been approached by a paid, petitioner, blah blah blah," trying to stir up fear, and I'm like, come on, you got to do better than that. I mean, I don't remember who. One of them was Jared Taylor on Twitter, and I said, no, man, that there's better ways around this. You're making it harder for the little guys, and the money guys can still, they won't have any issues. But I mean, Jared Taylor's a pretty decent guy, but he was wrong on that one. I was like, no.
Yep.
Don't let the fear porn, scare you into voting for this, because this is not the correct way to fix the issue.
I'd like to say too, I'd like to echo what you say. Jared Taylor is a good man. He's a really good man. I think he's just caught up in this issue on the wrong side of this particular issue due to possibly peer porn or fear porn. Or it could be that, basically he doesn't even know there's a better option out there. Once again, this never made it to the floor. So he may not even know about it. What's that?
This is 132, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking right at it. It's made it to the floor. It's been perfected, and it's on...
No, it made it to committee. It's on the informal calendar. So it needs a third reading. It needs a third reading to get out on the floor. That's not been scheduled. So it's on the informal calendar.
Yeah, but see, if you look at now my computer's slowing down or something.
It doesn't matter. It's on the informal calendar, and we have reason to believe that Plocker the blocker isn't going to let it come up, because this is not what he wants.
But if you look on there, there's a committee version, and then there is a perfected version.
Yeah, perfected in committee. So they have to do a floor perfection.
That doesn't sound right. Let me look at...
No, we don't even need to talk about that, Caleb, because Plocker won't let it on the floor. It's languishing.
I'm just looking at this, and this says taken up for perfection House, and then title of bill agreed to perfection H, which is House, not committee. Then fiscal review, and they just did fiscal review, and then it has to go to third reading, and then once it's voted to pass, there it goes to the Senate. But
yep, it needs the third reading on the floor.
Yeah.
So
I know. I'm just.
Go ahead.
But my point being is that it did go up for perfection after it went out of committee, but then it's still being held on to.
Yep, through fiscal. I meant fiscal. Basically, it went to fiscal, passed out of fiscal, waiting for third reading on the floor. So, but that's procedural, gang. Don't get caught up in that. This is not being, and by the way, this is the kryptonite to House Joint Resolution 79. This is one that leaves us, gives us the ability to still do a ballot initiative as residents. And it doesn't raise the bar so high that we can't get something done. Here's the deal. If we have people like Plocker in the House of Representatives, and he is floor leader or he is Speaker of the House, and he won't let good bills through, we can go right to the voters with good bills. We can bypass the General Assembly in the state of Missouri. 21 states have that ability. Ours just happens to be the easiest to do it. And we'd like that ease of access. But we don't want this to be taken advantage of by people like George Soros and Bloomberg. So what we do is we raise, the threshold on the vote side, not on actually getting a ballot initiative done, actually getting something on the ballot. That everyone should be able to do that. This is a free country. If we don't have this, we have to admit, well, the best ideas come from the General Assembly. Or if the General Assembly doesn't like your idea, like for instance, we have a conservative state here. Getting marijuana, bills done is difficult to do in a heavily red state. It's usually done through the ballot initiative process. That's one example. That's just one example. There are others. Like for instance, a really good example is the Hancock Amendment. That wasn't done through the General Assembly. That was done by a ballot initiative process. I don't know if you guys know that. I think it was 40 years ago is when we got the Hancock Amendment. So that was a really good idea. If you want to raise taxes in our state, come to us, the voters, first. Don't just decide in the General Assembly.
Right.
So,
Hey, Pat.
yes.
I want to add on to that. It was Jay Ashcroft, the governor at the time, was the one that vetoed the General Assembly's attempt at limiting the ballot initiative petition, and he was a Republican governor.
Yep.
And it was the Democrats that were actually leading the charge at the time to limit the ballot initiative petition.
Yep.
And so the tables have turned now.
Yes, it has.
And
that's a good point.
It's usually something that, triggers them to come back because they're afraid that, we can circumvent them and go around them. And so I gave a presentation last night about it at the Bates County Republicans. It was pretty interesting. So
nice.
Learned a lot of good facts. One other thing, term limits was passed by the ballot initiative petition.
It was indeed.
75% of Missouri came out and voted for it.
Yep.
And that's one of the questions I asked at the presentation is who's in favor of term limits, and 95% of the room raised their hand. And there must have been a crowd of 45, 50 people there. So every single one of them there.
Robert, I wonder how many times there was some kind of bill to actually do term limits in the General Assembly in Missouri before the voters had to go around the General Assembly and actually get it done themselves. Yep, because keep in mind, we try to do this in D.C. We've tried to limit terms in D.C. for decades, many, many decades. The only thing we've been able to do is limit how many terms the president has. We can't seem to get it done for senators or representatives. And so
they won't limit themselves.
That's correct.
I had a question. So you said on HJR 79 that there's language in there that actually changes the way delegates to the state constitution.
No, it just opens the doors wider to a constitutional convention within the state of Missouri.
Okay.
So it does. I don't know that it actually changes the delegate process. The delegate process is actually within the Constitution now.
Yes. We actually everybody in the their local area should elect their delegates within their what is it, county?
Yep.
Or they might go by a district, but it was just that language is very interesting that they're trying to make it easier to pull a convention.
Mm-hmm. So that's the fear. And that's something that we really need to take very seriously at this point, is the possibility of a constitutional convention under the current rules and policies and also the procedures for attempting this. We could have a completely new constitution next year if they did this. And I'm not sure that's such a good thing with the process they have for selecting delegates. Now, I don't want to go, we could go into the fear porn on that. That's not my point. My point is there's a better way of doing HJR 79, and that's HJR 132. So when you call your senator or you email your senator, which I'm asking you to do this weekend or tomorrow if you can, is to let them know that 132 is a better option, so dump 79. Put pressure on Plocker to get 132, and we can have 132 this year. If Plocker won't release it, then we have to wait until next year and try again. But at least HJR 79, it needs to die. Very poisonous. Now, we have another shot if it gets through. and that's the voters of Missouri. But the ambiguous language of how HJR 79 gets on the ballot is quite disturbing. And it's gone through perfection process, and it's gone through committees in the House. It's gone through committees in the Senate, and no one's changed the language of what would go on the ballot. Another disturbing indictment of slipping something through in the General Assembly. Just kill it. If you can't get it replaced with 132 language, just kill it. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at this myself now because I finally got it to pull up. For some reason it kept trying to type in 137. I don't know why, but
Okay.
yeah, there's only, let's see here, 2, 3, about 4 sentences in this entire thing that are amended of existing Missouri Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's really only 2 sentences that are amended, and it's just 2 parts of 2 sentences. That's really simple, actually.
So, at any rate, that's what we're asking for. This can still be, we can kill this, gang, in the Senate, or amend it to make it like 132. It's the senator's choice. If they kill it, it's done for the year. If they amend it, it has to go back down to the House and be approved by the House. But right now, I'm at that, and then, guys, we have to, trust me, we could go into much bigger argument like we did. Casey Rich, I'm afraid he's not on tonight, but, we went, stomping down the halls. And as soon as the senators got to read the language to 132, because they didn't know of its existence, we were giving them copies or having them pull it up so they could read it. And they were saying, oh, geez, yeah, 132 is a better bill. It is definitely a better bill. So all they had to do was see it. It's not like we have a bunch of evil senators. They simply didn't know about it. And when you have 1,740 bills in a year, for a state like Missouri, they don't go through stuff unless it's literally imminent. It's something they have to deal with. It's not like they go and read every single bill that's out there. And not every time does a bill get duplicated between the House and Senate. So it does for a lot of things, but some of them didn't, and HJR 132 was one of them. It's only in the House. So at any rate, gang, that's what I'm asking you to do. And also, we have a few other announcements tonight, but if you guys have any questions, please put them in, and we'll get to your comments here in a little bit. But I'm trying to convey as much information as possible tonight on what needs to be done. Call your senator. It's in the description section of this video, the roster for the Senate. Have them either kill HJR 79 or amend HJR 79 with language from HJR 132, which is the better bill. So that's what we're asking for. And by the way, on Tuesday next week, we're going up to Jeff City again. Those of you who want to join us can, but we're going through the Senate one more time because this is really important that this actually gets killed or changed. That's how important it is. So next Tuesday is sponsored by Show Me Integrity. So we're definitely aligned with them. We want to help them. We're all in this together. So I happen to know for a fact that Ron Calzone will be up there next Tuesday as well. So hitting the halls on this one. So, we were there this Tuesday, but I'm going up again next Tuesday. So those of you who want to go and join in on this, basically, Warrior Class is asking, has HJR 79 been passed by the House? Yes, it has. Unfortunately, it has. And it's passed through the House, and then it's in the Senate. It's gone through one committee in the Senate. It's in the Financial Committee right now in the Senate. It's expected to come out of the Financial Committee pretty quick, and then it'll be assigned floor time. It's actually on the formal calendar already, even though it's still in the Financial Committee. So it's the first thing that comes up on the formal calendar in the Senate. So this is imminent. This could happen as early as tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. They're still working on budget up there.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes.
It's kind of HB 123, correct?
Yeah, no, it's House Joint Resolution,
32.
HJR 132.
Okay, so House Joint Resolution 132.
That's correct.
what is there any estimates how much of a percentage of Missouri would have to come out in favor of
Um,
to
it's a simple majority in every voting district, I believe.
the simple majority in every voting district?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Okay.
It's a better bill.
Well, it really is. If you think about it, like term limits, 75% of Missouri came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it really makes sure that we as a collective, at least hopefully agree.
I'm pretty sure at this point it's just a simple majority.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I think it is
It's
simple
not-
majority, 51% in every voting district to amend the Missouri Constitution. And that's a hard one to get done,
Well,
gang.
simple majority just overall the state of Missouri.
I think it mentioned
As it
something about
stands now.
districts, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, if that were the case, then we would be moving up to 1/2 with HJR 132.
Okay.
So it is simple majority statewide. That's kind of the problem that they're having, is because as it stands right now, it's Kansas City and St. Louis that kind of decide all that.
Yeah. Yep, they
Yeah,
do.
3 towns, Springfield, Kansas City, St. Louis, can decide for the whole state.
Yeah, gotcha.
Columbia.
And so that I agree, the 2 biggest cities shouldn't account for everyone.
Yep.
But at the same time, in order for us to be able to come together and make good changes, because our government is slow about, I don't believe cannabis should be something that's regulated at all, right?
Yep.
Or hemp. And so can you imagine, like, it really sucks if you try to have to get 3/4 of the state to agree on something so simple when other people are such holdouts and stubborn.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think we need to really look back to some of the first coinage of mind your own business.
Yep.
And if it's not harming you, please just shut the F up.
Yep.
Because we can't have all this legislation. I'm really tired of one political party's point of view always being pressed, and it's not always the right
Yep.
point of view. So good bill. So HJR 132. I'll definitely make sure to look into it and push it.
Yep, that's the only viable alternative right now. The only. And once again, this is because they seem to be hell-bent up in Jeff City to deal with this year. And for some reason, HJR 79 literally is leading the pack of literally 17 bills that deal with ballot initiatives. And it's 79 is bad. Actually, 91 was worse, which didn't make it. So that's a good thing. But 79 is not even palatable to my mind.
No.
It's not. So at any rate, HJR 132 definitely deals with these issues and also prevents an easy constitutional Congress. So, guys, when we change the Constitution here in Missouri, it shouldn't be extremely easy to do, but it should be on the voting side that it's difficult. You should, hey, if your idea is, hey, listen, Missouri needs to, make, housing free to everybody. If that's your idea and the General Assembly laughs you off, you should be able to put that on the ballot if you collect enough signatures. But it shouldn't be so impossible to collect those signatures, even though I don't agree with that idea. By the way, I personally don't. I think that's a horrible idea, and shame on you for even proposing that in the first place. But the fact is, you should be able to have that, basically a ballot initiative process if the General Assembly won't give you an audience.
Yep.
It's just that simple. Go ahead.
You should be able to put whatever you want on a ballot.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Really, to approve it, you should actually have to get legitimately half of the state, as in half of the voting districts, and at over 51%.
Yeah.
Not just half the state where they're all concentrated in 4 really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, if you guys have any questions about what I'm asking you to do, like I said, this is actually quite important. If you have any questions, please let me know. But once again, actually, I'm going to go through it one more time. First of all, Tuesday, people are assembling in Jeff City to go talk to senators. I'm going. Casey Rich is going, and it looks like Gary Ride is going. I know that Show Me Integrity is sponsoring this rally, so they'll be there. and Ron Calzone will be there as well. Anyone else who wants to go is welcome to go. By the way, it's kind of up in the air for me. I'm dealing with my mom is in the hospital up in Minnesota, and I may have to go up to Minnesota. If that's the case, I meant Casey Rich will know, Ron Calzone will know, because I don't know if I'll be able to inform you guys, before I go up. But okay, so apart from going up on Tuesday, which is important, making a phone call and sending an email to your senator, after this, podcast is over, or any time during the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday would be great. That would be helpful. And once again, it's very specific. It's very easy to remember. Either kill HJR 79 or amend it to look like HJR 132, which is the only viable alternative we have. So that's specifically what we're asking. And this is actually quite important, gang. Because, like I said, they want something this year. They want to end the legislative season doing something to prevent the Soroses and the Bloombergs from changing the Missouri Constitution to making us a laughing. I mean, if you go talk to a senator, the first thing they'll tell you is our Constitution's 200-page long, and it is. It's the longest Constitution, basically, I think, in the entire United States of America. But that is not an excuse to limit your access to a good idea presented to the voters. That is not a good argument. And when, basically a senator or representative tells you that, you've got lots of good points to hit him with. I don't care how thick the Constitution of Missouri gets, as long as I am free. That's the important part. So, it's just, it's like complaining about a city, getting too big. If a city is a good thing and it's doing good things, it can get as big as it wants. But I hate to use the city analogy, but
Yeah, that's kind of a cringy analogy.
yeah, it
because
was a
lot of cities
cringy
get
analogy.
They get really big, and sometimes they get really nasty, and they
Yep.
get too much power to the point where they can't.
Yep.
In
So,
fact, if we get this, how about a ballot initiative to strip cities of some power?
yep. Yeah, to take away some of their governmental power. Yep. Okay, so basically that's the call to action. Now we got some announcements too. And one of them is we need to ask people, if those in our group here, how many of us are going to be going to Travis's expo at the end of May. It's exactly a month from now. It's the 26th and 27th of May. And so we're curious how many people are going. So if you guys are planning on going to that, that's in Texas County, Missouri, please let us know. In fact, I'm going to put the email address down below if you want to email me. And also, if you intend to go on Tuesday to Jefferson City, please send me an email. Let me know. I'll get you my phone number so that we can communicate when you get there. There we go. Patrick@mofree.org. So you can email me there if you intend to go to Travis's. By the way, we will be at the expo as well. So we'll actually have tables there. We'll be talking to people. Actually, we're speaking as well at the expo. So it promises to be a good time. And there'll be vendors there selling stuff as well. So there'll be that kind of stuff going on. Great speakers, great presentations. So that should be a lot of fun. And, of course, it's Travis, our good friend Travis. Okay. All right. Caleb, any further announcements beyond that?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, gang, if you guys don't have anything else on the YouTube side, we'll wait a few minutes. We'll probably go ahead and end the stream. We'll stay in Discord like we always do if you guys want to come in and talk. And hello to Voodoo Queen who has joined us. And she just got off work. And bless you, Voodoo Queen, for joining. Come right off of work and come into the live stream. We appreciate it. And for Ken Wood, I do understand that you are Mad Mom and that you're using your husband's phone in his Discord. So that's okay. We get that. And welcome aboard, of course. And Crystal Roby joined us too. Hello, Christy. Crystal. Let's see. Okay, I think that, and let me scroll up just a little bit and see if we haven't caught anything. Let's see. Ken Wood, which is Mad Mom, said, our roads, they fight over who fills the potholes, and we have to educate our communities. They're stealing the ballot initiative. Yep. And Tribulation Preppers with us, too, of course. Hey there, Trib.
Mm-hmm.
And Tribulation Prepper is also a regular at Travis's meetings as well. If you guys have never met him, you can meet him at Travis's meetings.
Nice guy.
Yep. Okay. All right. We've had nothing new come in. Okay, guys, any other business we need to get to, do you think, in this stream?
Not that I can think of, at least right away.
Okay.
I kind of got off track earlier and went ahead and went on that rant about constitutional conventions.
Yep. No, I had to steer it back in because we had to get back to 79.
Yeah, but that is that I felt like that was an important point too about those.
No, it is. It is. There's no doubt about it, actually. Go ahead.
All I ask is that if anybody knows of a freedom-loving candidate that's going to be running for one, either representative or Senate in the state of Missouri, please, please, please let me know. Give them my Facebook page or whatever. Have them message me because I'm here very shortly. I'm going to be trying to find as many of them as I can and line them up week after week and interview them and give them the platform to speak from. Because as everybody knows, if you're not establishment, the bigger media outlets aren't going to give you the time of day. So I'm trying to give them a place to speak their message. I think Robert said he may have somebody contact me pretty soon. I've got some others that we met, a gentleman from a PAC in Senator Eigel's office. I'm going to start looking them up and contacting them and kind of feel them out, maybe give them maybe do some interviews. But yeah, if anybody knows of any freedom-loving candidate for the state of Missouri, please let me know. Please, I will, and I will give them all the time they need to talk. I mean, my radio side can only go 56 minutes, but on the podcast side, I give them as much time as they want to talk. We just have an open dialogue and talk about the topics. So yeah, feel free to send those people my way, and then I will do my best to get them some airtime.
Hey, John, I got a quick question. First of all, John's YouTube is now in the YouTube chat, his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the Liberty Report, our good friend John's channel. John, I got a question for you. Have you ever had a second hour that was just so dang good you wish it was your first hour on the radio?
Yeah. Because sometimes, I try never to say I'm only asking these questions. What I do is I have topics, especially some of the stuff that I've learned from you guys that I ask the candidates about to see if they're knowledgeable on it. But I try to open it up and let it go wherever it goes. And sometimes, like Robert has done interviews with me where we go. I mean, I think the first time that he was on with me, we did almost 2 hours. And I've had other folks on, and it's sometimes the longer it goes, the better it gets because we feel each other out for the first little bit, and then we just kind of hit a lick, and it just goes. And we veer off into all these great topics, and it's like, I wish the radio side would just, I wish I had
2 hours.
If they would say, oh, you can just, whenever yours cuts off, we go to the next one. I get it. They've got a scheduling deal. But man, it sucks because a lot of times after that first 56 minutes, one of us will randomly say something and it just takes off, and we can literally get into a half hour, 45-minute conversation. In fact, when I had you on, we went 2 hours, and the longer we went on, we just found more things to talk about, and it's just random. And to me, it makes better radio. And this isn't me being arrogant. I have had a couple people come to me and say, you'd be really good on a radio station. I said, no, I wouldn't, because on a radio, if you interview somebody by phone, you get like 3 minutes. I want to have a genuine conversation with somebody, especially if they're running for office or they're in office and they're doing good things. 3 minutes is not enough, or 5 maybe if you're lucky, to have a genuine discussion with somebody about things that actually matter freedom and liberty and give them a chance to tell people what they're doing. And I'd have to sit here with a whiteboard and write down what I was talking about as the producer's like, oh, we're going to a radio break. And oh yeah, I got to write this thought down so I can continue on the other side. This is way easier. Now, I do get hit on 2 different stations, one local low power FM, and then also basically 3 internet streams. I would have the ability, if I wasn't doing radio, to say whatever I thought. But realistically, if I said whatever came to mind, you're going to turn some people off. They don't want to hear all that language, so I get it. It helps me keep my filter on. But I love what I do. And since I've met guys like Robert and your group, Patrick and Caleb and KC, and Jesse Rude, who's I think he's trying to move to the state of Missouri because he lives in the state of Washington right now, and he hates it. So he's on a mission to move to Missouri. If he comes into Missouri, he's going to help me with the Missouri Liberty Report, and he knows the Constitution like the back of his hand. So I'm hoping when he moves here, he'll get involved with our group too because he's really knowledgeable. So since I've started meeting you guys just randomly, the podcast numbers are better, the viewership is up, and I'm having a blast. Even though there's weeks I come home on Friday, it's like I need an hour nap so I can wake up refreshed and do this. I just can't see myself shutting this thing off anytime soon. I literally, for the first time since I've been doing this, I literally feel like I'm doing something that makes a difference, and I'm finding other people that are like-minded and are on a mission, and it makes me mentally feel better. And then I know that I'm educating my audience better than I did before, makes me feel better because I don't want to mislead people. I don't want to give them the wrong facts. And I enjoy the hell out of having you guys with me and being with you and learning all these things. It has been a huge benefit to me meeting you all, and it's a benefit to my audience. So I think I can say for everybody, thank you to you guys, Robert, Patrick, Caleb, Casey, anybody that joins in on the YouTube channel, Scott, all these guys. You guys make my life easier. And mentally, I feel so much better because I know that there are other people out there that I get to talk to, and I've met face to face now that feel the same way I do. And we're all striving for one thing, and that's freedom and liberty. And that feels amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you to everybody. I really do appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining us. We feel honored to have you here, man. And it was a really great experience up at Tuesday. It was really great meeting you.
I was gonna say Warrior Class. If you look at his channel, on the very front page, it doesn't have content, but once you hit video tab, all the videos come up. That has to be an error on YouTube's end or something.
Yep, and actually, Voodoo Queen is asking you to check out someone, and that would be Mazzy Boyd. Yeah, you see that? Okay, someone to check out.
Thanks, Voodoo.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, gang. Remember now, I put my email address up here, and I'll say it out loud. It is patrick@mofree.org. And there, please email me if you're going up to Jeff City on Tuesday and you need a point of contact. Also, that's for anyone in the initiative. I mean, anyone can go. And then, as John will tell you, basically, you get on the job training. So it's not like you're thrown to the wolves.
It's awesome.
Yep. So basically, you'll get to run along with people who are veterans that have been up to Jeff City and basically are a little more experienced in dealing with these senators and these representatives. And so Casey and I, kind of led a larger group, on Tuesday, because Casey and I have been up there many times and doing this for a long time. So, but at any rate, it's the same issue we were dealing with on Tuesday. It's sponsored by Show Me Integrity. And you guys, we've had Ben on the program before. In fact, Mad Mom, that is basically on the YouTube side right now, is one of their members as well. She's the one who connected our two organizations. And so at any rate, that's an issue that they're dealing with as well, which is HJR 79. They're trying to get it stopped as well. So I think we pretty much covered it all, and I don't see anything new coming in. I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight, and I think we can defeat this. I think we can get it done. I think we have the manpower to do it, and we certainly have the passion to get it done. So let's concentrate on shutting down 79, and then basically we can all raise our glasses at the end of the legislative season. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, from all of us at the Missouri Freedom Initiative to all of you, thank you. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. Thank you for caring about the state of Missouri. Thank you for doing something about, making us the freest state humanly possible. That's our goal. That's our mission. And I want to say also one more thing. For those of you who believe in prayer, I'm going to ask you for a favor. If you guys could pray for the health of my mother. She's in the hospital up in Minnesota right now, and I can't be there with her. I will go up if, I get calls randomly from my dad and my brother up there. And so she's having some heart problems, but she's stable right now. But prayers for her to heal quickly and to get out of the hospital and go home would be awesome. So thanks again for joining tonight, gang. I love all of you. And we'll see you basically on Sunday night's live stream. So we'll talk to you then, and we'll recap what we're doing with HJR 79. And if I have any new news, I'll give it to you at that time. So thank you very much, gang. We'll be talking to you soon. Take care.
Auf Wiedersehen.